Hi, and welcome to Magic Lantern Film's third weekly video web rant, and this week, Bambi vs. Godzilla, which I took from the 1969 two-minute short animated film where Bambi is very leisurely eating on the grass in a nice little field, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, squat by the mighty Godzilla. And here, the analogy, of course, is the mighty big blockbusters being demolished by small independent films and other films as well. If you remember, I'll take this for example. You're going to go this week, Iron Man 2 opens this week, and you're going to go to the multiplex, which plays 8, 10, 12, 16, or perhaps more movies, and how many of those screens are going to be taken by Iron Man 2? 4, 6, 8 of them? Which is a little ridiculous. Does the movie need that many screens to play, in a 16-screen multiplex? I say no, and it's killing. Number one, it's killing the independent films and smaller films who are looking for screens and looking for wider distribution. And number two, I think in the end it hurts that big mighty blockbuster in the long run. If you remember, when movies would play, they'd play for weeks on end, sometimes even months on end, and now it really just kills the shelf life of that blockbuster. So Iron Man, instead of playing for 3-4 months, is going to be in the theater for maybe 6 weeks in that great on all those screens, on that many screens. So I think that's a little bit absurd. If you go back to Iron Man, the original, May 2008, Iron Man was released in May of 2008. The opening box office weekend, and all the screen numbers and all of the domestic grosses I'm giving you are courtesy of Box Office Mojo, so I should definitely throw that out. In May of 2008, Iron Man came out, and it was released, and the opening box office numbers for that was $98.6 million. Of course, it ranked number one. How many screens did it open on? 4,105. 4,105 screens. Now, you're asking, well, how many movie screens are there in America? I looked that up. The average, the U.S. movie screens there are right now, in 2009, I should say, there were a total of 39,000. A little over 39,000. Okay, so back to the Iron Man of 2008. 4,105 screens. In that same week, I'm going to throw out 3 other movies that came out that very same week. David Mamet's Red Belt, a very, very good movie, made $63,000 in its opening week. Not even $1 million. How many screens did it open on? 6. 6 screens compared to 4,100 screens. In that same week, a very, very small movie called Mr. Lonely, which wasn't really that great, but a cult film, independent film. $16,000 that weekend. How many screens did it open on? 1 screen. Okay? And then it obviously made some money in DVDs and video release. Maid of Honor, the silly comedy to I guess go along with the action blockbuster that was Iron Man, was released. Maid of Honor was released in 2,729 screens and made a respectable $14.7 million that opening weekend. I'm throwing numbers that might be boring, but my point is that Iron Man is opening at 4,100 screens in 2008, and much smaller films aren't even opening on a dozen. There's a problem there that needs to be addressed, and I'm not sure what Hollywood is doing about it, how the distribution works, or anything like that. Let's go right now to 2010, all right? This year, okay? Alice in Wonderland was released in March of 2010. I did not see Alice in Wonderland. I will see it. I haven't heard one good thing about it. It made, in its opening weekend, $116 million. For an opening weekend, which is insane. That's a great, very, very, very high number for opening day weekend. How many screens was it open on? 3,728. Okay? No other films were even released that week. The Secret of Kells was released on 1 screen. All right, and this is after the Oscars. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature. No one ever heard of The Secret of Kells. 1 screen it was opened on. All right, and Brooklyn's Finest also opened 1,900 plus screens as well. Okay, this year, all right, How to Train Your Dragon, 4,055 screens. Okay, on that same week, in March 26th, Chloe, which is now, you can go out and see that, the Liam Neeson movie, and Julianne Moore, the wonderful Julianne Moore. Chloe, compared to 4,055 screens, Chloe opened on 350 screens. Again, a tremendous problem here, killing independent films as they struggle to find an audience. Okay, Clash of the Titans opened on 3,777 screens. In that same week, The Greatest, the Pierce Brosnan movie with Susan Sarandon, opened on 8 screens. Problem. I think it's a problem. It's always upset me. I understand the blockbusters are going to get this release. I understand that, but 4,000, is it necessary? Is that when I go to the movie theater, I'd like to see a greater variety, just like when I go to any place else, a car dealership, supermarket. I want to see a variety. I'm not getting that at the modern day multiplex. Okay, Kick-Ass opened April 26. Kick-Ass opened to 3,065 screens. That same year, The Perfect Game, the true story on the Little League baseball team, opened on 417 screens. And I can keep throwing this at you. It happens every week, and it's sad. And it's going to happen again this summer. All right, I'm going to finish. I'm going to go back to last year. If I go to last year and I see the 2009 yearly box office, the biggest moneymakers of 2009. Now, if I go there, the top 27 grossing films of last year, and I'm looking at it right now, all had an opening week release of at least 3,000 screens. Until you hit the number 28 film, which was It's Complicated with Meryl Streep, opened on 2,887 screens. All right, so the first 28, I mean, the others aren't even getting an opportunity. They're not getting a shot. All right, Transformers opened on 4,234 screens. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince opened at 4,325, and it goes on and on and on. It's absurd. The only the anomaly of there actually was Precious, which ended up the year, it's ranked 65th as far as making biggest blockbuster or moneymaker of 2009. Excuse me. Opened at ended at 65th, and it made a total of 47 million plus. It opened on 18 screens. And the widest release Precious ever even had in the United States was 1,006, and it still made there. So you do get those little engines that could, but they're few and far between, and they run mainly on word of mouth. All this rant is for is that I'm continually bothered, continually upset at the fact that these mega blockbusters are on, when I go to a movie theater, are on 6 screens, and I don't get to see anything else. Okay, no offense to Iron Man 2, I'm going to see it. I'm very excited to go see this, and I'm looking forward to it. But there is a problem with regard to distribution, and that's where this rant came from. I don't know when Bambi is going to start fighting back. Hopefully Bambi will. Hopefully Hollywood will look at this and see that there's a problem. The numbers are going up, and each year more and more people are going to the movies. The average ticket price in 2009 was $7.50 compared to 1986, which was $3.71. Ticket prices are going up. It's not affecting us. We're still going to the movies. We'll continue to go to the movies, but it would be nice to, again, see a greater variety and see some of the smaller films get a bigger distribution. I mean, you have to, thank God I live in a place where I can go to these small art house films. I don't know if these states in the middle of our great country have the opportunity to go and see The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. City Island. City Island I just saw. It's a wonderful movie. City Island's a wonderful, charming movie with Andy Garcia. Go see it if you haven't. It made 32,000 its opening weekend. Okay, how many screens did it open on, City Island, when it first came out? 2 screens across the country, and I'm guessing it's New York and LA. I can't be sure, but if you're living in another state, too bad. You're not going to see City Island until it gets on Netflix or in Blockbuster, which is a pity, and that's sad, and something needs to change. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.